That's right, it's locked room murder. I'm not even going to throw a fit anymore. I just had to replay most of last video because for whatever reason on Ace Attorney Online, my saves are refusing to load. Like, it'll load maybe the dialogue, and the page will just automatically refresh. A locked room, you say? You're not looking too thrilled about it either. I just kind of need something to be simple right now. No, what you need is a magician. The ultimate locked room consultant. Well, lucky me, I guess. More luck than smarts, let me tell you. Harsh, but fair. So, what does Emma say about Delight's murder? Delight's autopsy showed he died sometime between 2 and 3 on November 22nd. But his body wasn't found until 2 a.m. of the 23rd. According to Emma, although he was found at the club, it's very clear he wasn't actually killed there. He managed to swipe a copy of the autopsy report. You can't exactly pass it through glass, so you better remember every word. Managing facts is so difficult. You know when Edgeworth got put in jail, he got to keep his organizer. Yes, because it's an actual organizer, not a box with court record written on the side. I did that as a joke. I just want to show... We have... Showing that we're sharing memories here. We have the 2 pieces of evidence we picked up as our mysterious mind reader in our court record. No, you didn't. So, it's literally all this evidence is being organized in Nick's head, and it just so happens that he has these 2 new pieces of evidence placed in his head. Ron's autopsy report. Let's see. Killed November 22nd between 2 and 3 a.m. Cause of death is a single stab wound to the neck. Although his body was found at the hideout, it was clear he was not killed there. Interesting. Where exactly did they find him? The hideout? Got it in 1. Our tale begins at 1 a.m. According to management, there was a last-minute reservation for the hideout. Mr. Tombstone and Mr. Hyde wanted to meet up. Mr. Hyde. At 1:30, a member of the staff cleaned the hideout. In other words, the body was not there at the time. The same member who prepared the room was then placed to guard the door. She goes by Silent Sam. Silent Sam. Sam Cardenio. Oh yeah, I think I know her. Can't quite bring a face to the name, but, well, let's speak though, she's probably, not silent? Is that how it goes? What I do remember, nice enough, though. She said she liked my piano playing. Oh, I remember you mentioning her. She's deaf, right? Well, deaf or not, she obviously wouldn't have missed someone slipping by the door unnoticed. Anyhow, according to Sam, Mr. Tombstone arrived at 1:40. Mr. Hyde showed up about 5 minutes after. Neither of the 2 seemed to be carrying anything suspicious, just a briefcase each. The meeting was short. At 1:50, Mr. Tombstone left the hideout. At 1:55, Mr. Hyde followed. And finally, at 2 a.m., when Sam re-entered the hideout to clean the hideout afterwards, there was Mr. Delight's body sitting in one of the chairs. Okay, this is a cool shot. I'm assuming the police are suspecting our dear friends Tombstone and Hyde. They're denying the whole thing ever happened. Well, no surprise there. Admittedly, though, Ron never struck me as the type to hang with typical mobsters. What about otherwise into the room? The window near the stairs could squeeze someone through, but it was shut from the inside. Both on first inspection and when the body was found. Now, there's way more fun to get in and out without being seen. How you mean? The secret. If my Apollo Justice knowledge is correct, we need the secret passage. Passage behind the bookshelf, right? Afraid that's off the table, though. After what happened in the hideout last time, management decided to seal the secret passage off. If you move the bookshelf, you'd just see a bricked-up wall. They placed a guard on the other side of it, just to be sure. Also, the building that's on the other end of it got bought and will be abandoned soon. So it's pretty much non-usable. I see. Secret passage acquired. Guess we're doing this the hard way. Oh boy, let's take this step by step. First thing we have to figure out is how the body got there. I've never heard good things about Sam. She wouldn't be a part of this. So I'd say we trust her testimony. In that case, the best point of entry for Mr. Delight's body is... I don't know.
Take that!
The door. Tear out the door to the secret passage. You added that Sam's dead. Someone could have dragged Mr. Delight's body on top of the stairs and threw it over. But then someone pulled him in through the window. The window was locked when the room was first checked. Meaning that Tombstone and Hyde must have unlocked it and dragged him in. Tombstone shows up, unlocks the window, while Hyde drops the body next to the window. They pull the body in, and Tombstone locks the window back. Well, this is pretty easy. Somehow it sounds like you're not convinced. I told you. Ron Delight didn't strike me as the type to hang around mobsters. There's also some other things. Most people using the hideout are aware of the secret passage. But most likely wouldn't have been aware of it, that it's not usable. I mean, I don't know. Goon would think the club is a convenient body dump, only if they got to use the passage. The fact that this plan completely ignores it while still insisting to put the body there makes me think the mobsters were telling the truth. They weren't involved. Someone was just playing their parts. A disguise? Just my gut feeling. I mean, these days you can make a convincing mask of anyone's face. Feels a bit weird to just dismiss them both as culprits, though. I can't prove they're innocent, sure, but there's some other things on my mind. Just like there's some on mine. You saying that the two people who were both wearing this perfect disguise? No, I think it was actually just one person. First, seeing Sam was on guard, he pushed Ron's body next to the window on the outside. They showed up as Tombstone to the meeting. They unlocked the window and pulled Ron's body in. Then they left through the window and disguised themselves as Hyde. Hyde enters and the culprit waits a bit. Finally, the culprit leaves as Tombstone. They re-enter through the window, lock it from the inside, and leave as Hyde. Complicated plan. Why pretend to be two people? Scheduling the hideout for one person would have stood out. The choice of the location, plus the knowledge that Sam is dead. Plus knowing that the secret passage isn't an option. Must be a part of staff. Given that the person who brought him here probably killed him. Assuming they must have some connection to Ron. All that put together, plus what I've already learned. It's hard to see this person as the prime suspect. Is it Desiree? Employee of the club. Waitress at the club? I've got reason to suspect she's involved in the Golden Mask's theft. To what degree, I don't know, but that ties her to Desiree, which ties her to Ron. Thavia's right. Ron's death in itself is probably connected to the mask. Let's not even talk about the fact that Olga's currently nowhere to be found. Still, could she really have the means to disguise herself as not one, but two people? I think in the back of my mind is telling me yes, but I can't remember what. I think it's something Desiree mentioned when we met that night, but I can't remember. Damn it, why didn't I learn to put every little thing in the court record for later? Something's still bothering me, though. Mr. Delight was already dead. Why go through all the trouble to put his body at the club? She just wanted him found. She could have just left him out on the street or something, right? Not a bad question. I'm wondering if the hideout was some kind of base of operations for whatever this is. Maybe she was compelled to break in because she panicked and didn't know what to do. You naturally want to bring the body somewhere you think is safe, right? Well, if you ask me, it sounds random, contrived, and all sorts of wrong. When did you... You really are losing your touch here, right? First you accuse our shoe, now you're off spouting baseless theories. It's not a good look, you know. Oh, you're one to talk. Think people haven't heard about your antics during that trial? Mr. Light should have slapped you then and there. My behavior during the trial is regrettable. I like to chalk it up to a lack of sleep, but it's clear I have some unresolved issues. I came out at the worst time in the worst possible way. I apologize. To be clear, I don't think I'm in wrong in everything I've said, but Eddie isn't a bad person. Don't even go there. I haven't come here to argue, Fraulein. I have some business to discuss with her right here. Yeah, well, my visit still ain't over. Too bad. Trucy. It won't take more than 10 minutes of his time. You have my word. Mr. Gavin, It's okay, Trucy. Get yourself a soda. Fine. Right now, you're both kind of jerks in my eyes anyway. At least try and make up or something. No promises, kiddo. She's a good kid, you know that? Very best in the whole wide world. Let's try and get something straight, yeah? This isn't about Kristoff or what happened 7 years ago. Yes, you were very clear about that. I know something had to be done. Your way, however, I feel Verb was beyond counterproductive to your cause. And that's all I'll say on the matter. That said, I would very much like it if I have nothing more to do with you after this. Feelings mutual. You won't even acknowledge I might have a point. You said your piece. I don't think we have anything more to discuss. He did say he was rubbing off on you a bit, you know? Anyhow, I've done my best to try and confirm your crazy story. Would you imagine my surprise when I found out pneumocine was an actual drug? Should I take that as you believing me? If I am believing you, it's not because of your word alone. But we'll get to that. I see you've taken the liberty of looking into Air Delight's demise. About as much as I can from behind bars anyways, yeah. Any conclusions? Honestly, this whole thing's a mess. You don't know the half of it, honestly. Oh, Air Delight, what does your instinct tell you? I think you just heard my instinct. Now, I'm not talking about how the body got into the club. Asking how you think he fits into your part of the story. Well, I told you about what I think happened when Mr. Light and I met. How Olga Orley was probably involved. That's only a part of it, as far as I'm concerned. Someone still had to drug Mr. Light, without her knowing and get her to make the bet. The only person I see doing that is Ron himself. I see. And according to you, the whole reason for this was little double bluff is to give you false hope. Sure. As long as I believe Mr. Light knew about the bet, I think she'd come to my rescue. Of course, to even go so far as to get me into a trial, I would have had to steal something first. Pneumocine or not, though, I see no reason to think I'd steal anything. Thinking that way, the second part of Ron's involvement becomes a lot clearer. He's a thief, after all. If that's your definition of clarity, I can only dread what you think blindness really is. Come on, Phoenix. It's almost making sense here. Camera? Do you believe he was the stranger in the security room? Afraid I can't quite subscribe to that. The problem is the same as always, right? How would he have possibly been able to roam around unnoticed? Right, I proved that the person had to have been Angel Star. Let's just think logically here. Nima-san or not, I see no reason to think I'd steal anything. Think that way this... Wait, what?
Take that! Take that! Take that!
Okay. Outdoor cameras?
Take that!
Let's just present here.
Take that! Take that!
That night. The person who stole the mask must have been Delight disguised as me. More baseless speculation. Excellent. It's not baseless. Is that a weird mark around his neck? Delight was masked to mask, a master thief. Think he spent the past 7 years twiddling his thumbs? Think nobody's invented rubber face masks? Sounds fantastic to say the least. Still, hypothetically assuming that had actually happened, after stealing the mask, someone murdered him and put his corpse in the club. Is that someone being Olga Ordry? It's not impossible. He was betrayed, yeah. But this whole scheme, go to such lengths to frame you, how did you make him so angry, I wonder? That's a good question. According to you, I'm hardly a saint, so it must have been something I've done. Well beyond tampering with the courts, your activities should be limited to just illegal poker, Nine. True, even so. You never know. Something completely random could have caused these dominoes to start falling. And butterfly effect and all that. The better analogy I have in mind is that of an avalanche. But that's probably because I have a mountain on my mind. I can't tell if you're speaking in metaphors or actually thinking of a mountain. Ever heard of Nightingale Hotel, right? Nope. Should I have? Believe it or not, it's the reason why we're not holding the final day of the trial tonight. A call came in a few hours ago, saying people were being held there against their will. They had been trapped there for over 3 days, as the caller said. The hotel itself is off in the mountains, under ever heavier snow. Even so, as the call made it clear, these people had no way to get down themselves, and that their lives may be in danger. Due to the snowstorm and the lack of manpower, Airshoe's team was sent to investigate. Ah, yes. There are art crimes afoot over the mountains. The caller, anonymous, said we would find 4 people there. Lo and behold, we did. I'm not sure why you're telling me this. Because 3 of those people were Angel Star, Lisa Basil, and Vera Misham. All 3 core players of this little comedy. Wait. But the caller said that they'd been trapped there for over 3 days. Okay, this is going on live. Someone is very definitely impersonating our 3 witnesses. Yes, isn't that something? Are you saying that while Angel Star and Lisa Basil were supposedly trapped on top of some mountain, they also somehow managed to testify at the same time? I can't really claim anything. It's not as if I can ask them. Well, all 3 of them are dead, after all. What? No, just kidding. You fuck. Could you imagine? Hey, remember the part where I was the table person? Everyone is safe and sound. I am particularly pleased to report that their mission is holding up well. As someone whose fear of the outside world was developed due to being almost kidnapped, most would assume this would be a devastating experience. Well, it still may be. Perhaps it just hasn't settled in yet. We'll find that soon enough. All four are being questioned as we speak. So to answer your question, I have no clue how this gels with whatever happened in the trial. You'll just have to wait until tomorrow when we bring this matter to a close, yeah? Yeah. And the fourth person? Who are they? Funny enough, compared to the other three, I have no clue what their connection is. First impressions, either playing dumb or just an actual passerby caught on a blast. Time will tell. Or rather, their shoot will, once he testifies what he learned from them. Until then. Do you honestly think I did this? If you didn't, the truth will come out. I will admit the question is pretty funny, given that you yourself don't know the answer. I wouldn't do something like this. If you say so. You do understand, right, that I am just doing my job here, don't you? I want to tone the drama down, at least. Your vindictive side is showing through here. How do you do, Pot? I'm Kettle. Fair enough. If you're truly innocent, let's get together for drinks and have an actual heart-to-heart when this is over. Contrary to some of my lyrics, I would prefer not to hold a grudge. And if I'm guilty? Oh, then I'm totally validated, and this was a long time coming, given all the red flags. Auf Wiedersehen. Alright, back to our friend. This is the part where we get out of here? Nope, we're here now. Guess thinking they'd scheduled this thing at a reasonable time was too much to hope for, huh? I don't see how you're surprised at our judicial system being unreasonable. Have I imparted no lessons onto ye, my child? But, my gosh, Daddy, thank you for teaching me the value of being arrested all the time. Hey, listen. At least I'm doing better than Aunt Maya. But she was a teenager dragged into situations by egomaniacs. What's your excuse? I'm exactly the same. I'm a child at heart, you know. What's going on here? Also, for the record, I think you've officially broken her record. Maybe? Are we counting the time I got put on trial in middle school? I got arrested for murder in middle school? Daddy, are you cursed? You better tell me. That stuff gets inherited, you know. Actually, I might be. We should have Maya look into it. I'm hearing voices in my head. Remind me to do that when this thing's wrapped up. Very brave of you, believing in the reasonableness of the judicial system to let you go. Being unreasonable by nature doesn't mean you can't make them see reason. Speaking of seeing things, why is that person staring at us, and why do they think we can't see them? Crap! The way I heard it, that's the fourth person they found at the Nightingale Hotel. Afraid I didn't quite catch the name, though. Your daughter made a good point. Why are the trials being held at these times? It's the snowstorm, right? About the gist of it. Traffic's basically near impossible in this weather. Pretty difficult to even get to the courtroom. It seems to ease up during the night, though, so most trials got moved to there. Moved? Or like squeezed in. Of course. Power outages have also become pretty frequent. The danger potentially dangerous criminals using that to get away. It's not favorable. So it's mostly petty crimes being presided over. More major stuff has been pushed back a month. Of course, with the crime rate being as high as it is, trials do need to still be held. Their length is even more limited by the fact you have other cases needing to use courtrooms. Believe it or not, we've got ejected from the courtroom. First night. The case did get scheduled on pretty short notice, after all. Oh, that's literally why the day ended when it did? We ran out of time and got ejected? Ah, that was the reason. And on the second day, the trial probably got postponed when you told everyone the actual truth, right? Cool, thanks. Severe cold. I don't know why that's evidence that's been added to the court record, but... Noted by Phoenix Wright. The city has been under a severe snowstorm. It's been made day-to-day hectic, hindering traffic, delaying court proceedings. also been causing occasional blackouts. Well, that's all I really wanted to know. Well, that and actually seeing you in person. Okay. Oh, hello there. Oh, it's nice to meet a fan, I guess. Hello. Although, something tells me we've met before. In a sense, maybe. You're not what I expected, either. Just don't say anything about my shoes, okay? You sounded scarier, that's all. Most people don't even notice I sound like anything other than them. Does that make me special? You're observant, at least. Observant enough that I think you're my only shot in figuring all this out. She ruminated on the gift I left you yesterday. It's given me a sense of perspective, sure. Glad to see you're taking this so well. Someone that can apparently dig through my head, you haven't figured out I've seen everything? I hope you'll get to the bottom of this. Well, we both know my performance so far hasn't exactly been stellar, but thanks. I don't suppose you managed to find those lost 6 hours of mine crawling around? Afraid things can't be that easy. God forbid. I like the suit. Looks good on you. Got a little bit of that bravado you feel like you've been missing. You shave, too. Makes you look youthful. I'm my strongest when I don't feel alone, I guess. Tut tut. What about my company? Let's hope you don't end up in jail, then. For the record, me and the other three are only here on reserve. Just in case. Just in case what? Make things even more messy than they are. You're the mind reader. You think I will? Think you have literally nothing to go off of anymore and are completely desperate. So, yes. Good luck, Phoenix. I wouldn't say we're on a first-name basis just yet, Miss, Right then. So just to be clear, there was a woman there who just spoke to us, right? Yeah. Okay, great. Daddy isn't crazy. Score 1 for the day. Score 1 out of 100. Listen, 1's good enough for me at this point. Now, Daddy, that's not the right attitude at all. 1 is just one measy little victory good enough. Come on, show me your fighting spirit. Let me see your war face. Ah! Bullshit, I don't believe you. Let me see your real war face. Objection! That's more like it. If I do go to jail and never get a chance to say it again, I want you to hear it now. You're literally the greatest thing to ever happen to me. Presenting that page meant that I would get to have you as my daughter. I presented 1,000,000 times over, knowing full well what would happen. I've made a lot of mistakes as your dad. It's easy to say it now. I do mean that if I get out of this, I'm done with the club. This is all I can ever be. I know that now. Not a hustler. Not much more than the cardboard lawyer. But not much more than cardboard lawyer-wise either. It's okay, though. I'll figure it out. We've got plenty of roles to fill out at the agency, after all. You're right. Let's go finish this, then. Somehow. Not somehow. Remember the right way of doing things. Bluff. Bluff. Oh, I still love this. It is very much thickening, but I still love this. I think we've now have the full scope of things in mind here. And now it's time to actually piece together. If it is even possible. Poor is now back in session for the trial of Phoenix Strike. Defense is ready to rock, Your Honor. Not advised of you to perform plagiarism right in the court of law, air right? Just wanted to know what it was. Just wanted to know what it felt like. I suspected it felt terrible. I guess this will have to be a battle of the bands. But in my career, I have never lost one. Not once. Maybe you just haven't been given the proper challenge. Tune your amp up, air right? Scratching off guitarist in that list of talents for you to take up. Let's just keep me away from music in general from now on. Are you ready, Prosecutor Gavin? No. No? I will be when the time comes. However, the time between the last session and today's, certain events have taken place. But before we can circle back to Airride's involvement, we must clear up an important matter. Who trapped 4 people in a hotel up in the mountains? How is it possible 2 of those people gave testimony in this case while there? Why was one of those people Vera Misham, who seemingly forged a security card? Who is the Fiend with too many faces? Without answering these questions, we are bound to wander in the dark forever. Till we shine light, we cannot point the finger at Airride. Make no mistake, though, I am ready to rock. Well said. Then I, too, am ready to rock. Then let's consider this a jamming session before it's the real thing. Achtung, baby! Detective Gumshoe, lead us in. Achtung? Let's skip the name and occupation bit. Airshoe, please tell us about the incident at Nightingale Hotel. Hey, pal? Yes, detective? Double check with my wife. Turns out, I might even have an alibi for this one. Yes, very funny. Would be if there wasn't an actual chance you'd accuse me. You know, these are some major trust issues you've given me, Harry. You're gonna have to work real hard to make it up to me. I don't do your laundry for a week. I don't wash my clothes. But I also don't actually have a wife, so that would be appreciated. Gumshoe? Nightingale incident. The fuck was that? Got an anonymous call saying there were people trapped at the Nightingale Hotel in the mountains. Found 4 people. Their captor had introduced himself as the Fiend with too many faces. They claimed to have been there for 4 days, starting on the November 21st. Angel Star testified on the 22nd, just after midnight. This is Basil on the 23rd. Both, impossible. The people who were on the stand must have been imposters, pal. The 3rd person was Vera Bishop. She claimed those security cards were planted in her studio. The last person is Jamie Strange. Jamie Strange. Strange Sr. owns the Nightingale Hotel. Apparently, someone had hacked into the owner's account and sent an email telling the staff to leave. There's no clear motive. The Fiend only said they were not to kill each other. Jamie Strange. I'm not sure how all this ties into the case. The Fiend was maybe the theft's mastermind? We could have done without the maybe part at the end, Airshoe. Oops. Oh god. There she is. Jamie Strange, 35, the fourth hostage of the Nightingale Hotel. Her father is the current owner. Angel, Lisa, and Vera. If nothing else, if Miss Starr and Miss Basil weren't on the stand, the only motive for their kidnapping that I see is a practical one. What would kidnap them so they could take their place on the stand? Trials in this country last no more than 3 days, which explains the length of their captivity. Culprit took the first day to commit the crime, the other 3 to fake their testimonies? Sounds to me like the culprit's plan to have someone take the fall to begin with, and ensure they got found guilty through the trial that followed. What about after the trial, though? After all 4 got released? Would the truth have been revealed the moment they went to the police like it has now? I have my own theory regarding that. Angel! Miss Starr! Hello. Before I get to my point, I want to reaffirm something. Today's the first time I've sat in the courtroom in a long while. Whoever testified for you wasn't me, okay? You know, before my bosses get the idea I somehow let a mask be stolen on my watch. I don't know how they impersonated me, but they seem to have done a fine job. I hope you've seen the error of your ways, seeing the real deal and all. Glad we got that out of the way. Now, what was I saying? On the first and second day, we found these notebooks lying around. One contained information on me, the other on Basil. The way I see it, the culprit probably intended to use this as an indirect means of threatening us. Not a threat of safety than plain blackmail. So the information here is definitely not for public consumption. Of course, no more than 2 of these dossiers were ever left behind. Similarly, there's the question of Vermisham's cooperation. With those cars in her studio, she was bound to be seen as an accomplice. Furthermore, Jamie Strange's purpose in this scheme is not entirely obvious. I think the answer to all those points is pretty simple. Whatever plan there was, it fell apart on day 2. Probably when I proved Miss Starr's involvement in disabling the alarms. With the suspicion no longer being on me, the patsy, Miss Starr now wanted for questioning. Once Miss Starr was released, she would have likely told the truth to the police, threat or not. As for Miss Mission, I'm willing to bet the plan was to impersonate her on the stand as well. She could have confirmed that she helped me, likely in exchange for avoiding any kind of jail time. Culprit was probably banking on the court taking into account her frail mental condition and age. Not sure about Miss Strange, but I'm sure it's also something along those lines. That's diabolical. Of course, for this to work, there needs to be that patsy who ends up on trial. Or me, in this case. The culprit's plan to actually steal the mask needed 2 people. First would impersonate Angel Starr to take the security system out. Second would play the role of me.
Objection!
And this is where that convenient line of reasoning goes faulty. If the goal was to make you look as guilty as possible, then the rational thing to do would have been to simply not disable the alarm system at all. It's the only reason Fraulein Starr was suspected in the end.
Objection!
What if they couldn't do that? Remember that Mrs. Starr's phone is supposed to be able to send the whole place into a lockdown? How much do you want to bet something like that happens when the alarm is triggered? If that had happened, my imposter would have been trapped. Why not just have framed Miss Starr for doing everything? Why involve you? That's a good question, Your Honor. Let's not forget it still could have been you. By your own admission, you took a drug that wiped your memory. It's entirely possible that the culprit planned to steal the mask as Miss Starr, but was beaten to the punch by you, as I suggested earlier. It is admittedly possible. In that case, Miss Starr would have been the prime suspect. But think of it, I think this answers His Honor's question, too. What would have been the point in trapping people in the Nightingale Hotel? Furthermore, what would have been the point in involving Vera in any way? Miss Starr was seen as the culprit. There's no reason to make a fake keycard. She had hers. The only reason you even looked at Vera was because of her connection to me, right? Let me serve that line of reasoning right back at you, right? If the intent was to frame you and have Vera Mission support that you forged the fake security card, and if the fake Angel Starr and fake Phoenix Wright were working together that night, then why did they make such a huge blunder? By the time when the fake Phoenix Wright should have used a fake security card, was he anywhere but that door? There was no reason for the fake Angel Starr to have not just let him use it. Without that mistake, suspicion would have never fallen on her. That's also something that was kind of bothering me, yeah. One set of facts suggests that they were working together. Another point to them not sticking to any sensible plan at all. Either way, the one thing that is becoming crystal clear is that I was an intentional target. It couldn't have been Starr, it had to be me. Fake Phoenix went into business for himself, got himself on camera. That's what the culprit was counting on since the start. As Airshoe said, we don't know the motive for sure. I'm certainly not in favor of rushing to any judgments that would immediately favor you. Oh, now why would that be? It's clear that the matter needs to be examined further. At the very least, I believe we can agree that the events at Nightingale Hotel do put quite a lot of doubt on Mr. Wright's guilt. Score 2 for the day? Well, right. You've heard our judge. Matter needs to be examined. Examined, then. Again, perfectly without indicting me this time, pal. I'm not gonna live that one down for a while, am I? No, you're really not. Take it we haven't managed to track the caller down. Both we managed to get is that it was made from a public payphone. The matter is still being looked into, but I wouldn't get too hopeful. With the snowstorm, a lot of phone lines have gotten skewered. Needless to say, the tracking process is challenging. Any distinguishing features in the caller's voice? Right not. You're using a voice modulator. So this is a dead end then. So you got sent out to go investigate the hotel. Though unfortunately, given how that whole apartment's kind of in crisis mode. I guess it turned out fine, though, given that it was connected to my case anyway. And what did you find when you got there?
Hold it!
Definitely gonna need some elaboration here. They met their captor? Is that what you're saying? Not quite. The Fiend had introduced himself over a record he left for the captives. What did the record say? We'll get to that a bit later in the to air Shu's testimony. But now let's just stick to the fact that the 4 people were trapped. A Fiend with too many faces. A Fiend with an unnecessarily wrong name. Sick bird, Natty. Thanks, kiddo. I was just wondering if the name was foreshadowing him pretending to be Miss Star and Miss Basil. Pretty cocky, if you ask me. The moment you give yourself a name like that, you have to be someone with bravado. The too many part is interesting, though. Did we agree that the Fiend was likely more than one person? I feel like a scheme like this requires more hands by necessity. Sounds like you need the extra imposter to play your part at the museum. Sure, I suggest we ignore that last remark from Air Right. Guess it was a bit too much to hope for, huh? Let's talk about people then. How long have they been trapped?
Hold it!
How were they kidnapped, though? They got a voucher for a free stay at the hotel for a couple of days. Sender unknown, of course. The 21st was supposed to be their last day there. Instead, they woke up to a deserted hotel. What about the other guests, though? How come they hadn't gotten trapped? There weren't any. I mean, given the conditions back in the city, and nobody really in a vacation mood, I guess. All the people with the Fiend had to clear out were the staff. And we'll get into how that was done a bit later. Let's just get right into the main crux of this thing, yeah? 4 people were stuck there for 4 days. And yet...
Hold it!
Why so? Because they were trapped in the hotel, pal. So both Miss Star and Miss Basil deny testifying. Obviously. You can't be at 2 places at the same time. Which means...
Hold it!
Sus. Those disguises had to have been pretty perfect. There's been a lot of advancements in mimicking faces over the years. These in particular have made things real difficult. Fingerprints are the safest way to tell now, but you can't force everyone to always give them. Like you couldn't force Miss Star and Miss Basil to give them. Case seemed pretty clear-cut, and we would have expected to find their prints on the scene anyway. We also have their fingerprints on record somewhere already, so... I would not waste too much time trying to blame police for incompetence there, right? Given the time at their disposal, I'd say they played it as well as they could have. 2 perfect cases of impersonation. Not to play devil's advocate here or anything. Are you sure that there's no way for them to have secretly gotten from the hotel to the city? Huh? Well, just, hypothetically. On the first night, Star, the real one, sneaks out and does her night shift. The incident happens, she gets wrapped up with the trial. After she makes it back to the hotel before the rest are awake. Nothing similar with Miss Basil.
Objection!
2 issues, of course. The first is that both of them denying doing this, obviously. Since when has a little denial ever gotten in the way, Prosecutor Gavin? And the second is that there was no way up or down that mountain. The only reason the police managed to reach the hotel was because they got lucky. Snowstorm had definitely eased up by the time we had to get up there. Before then, forget about it, pal. It would have been impossible to go up or down the mountain, even with a resilient vehicle. Even the staff just barely managed to dodge the worst of it by leaving hours before it got super horrible. Of course, putting all that aside, Even if they had a car that managed to bear the weather, the police found no such car. With Fraulein Basil being the last one to return, the car would have still been there, no? Now if there was someone hidden in the hotel who just took it down at the end. Let's not put the other points aside then. They couldn't have used a car to begin with, yeah? But simply, you're saying that it's impossible for anyone to have gone to, or from the hotel. In the period between November 21st and the police arriving early on the 24th. Sounds about right. This seems a pretty important detail to mention, Detective. Please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. It seems like the point we need to question. What if they flew? Pardon? Well, you know, just kinda spitballing here. We have very strict rules against spitballing in the courtroom, Mr. Wright. I was just wondering if they would have been able to get on a glider or something. Probably would have lowered travel time and stuff. You do know the wind is the second biggest enemy besides the cold itself, right? If they had even thought about taking flight, they would have been flung across the Atlantic. I just want to make sure we've got everything covered. It'd be a pretty big pickle if it turned out someone did manage to move to and fro. We didn't have some explanation ready. A wonderful thing, I don't like pickles. Yeah, you look like the type. I don't understand what that even means, and I don't care to try. Speaking of types, though, let's talk about the silent one. A neat segue into our third guest, don't you think, right? Shoe? Sorry. Wrong shoe.
Hold it!
Again, if they were really planted, then the idea must have been to frame her. Assuming she is telling the truth, yes. By framing her, the culprit had effectively framed me. Of course, the other thing to note is that it would have been to frame her, not you. Once again, we must consider that Bride could have acted independently and stolen the mask. Let's consider the actions of our kidnappers, huh? The culprit could have been intending to frame Fraulein Misham for the whole thing. You being arrested led to us looking into her, which led to the culprit's scheme paying off. So you admit that I had nothing to do with the Ford security cards. If they framed her for the whole thing, though, why would they take her out of the picture? Why would they not just leave her to be arrested? You've already sufficiently proven you likely never used one anyway. And why should I push a point not even I believe in? It's still way too much of a coincidence if you ask me. You're getting arrested and the one forger you know being framed at the same time? By completely different parties? It's definitely not a strong point for Clavier. Which is probably the real reason he isn't bothering to push it. Detective, what about the very last person?
Hold it!
What do you think is her connection to this case? Not entirely sure, pal. The natural first person to suspect on a crime of this scene on this scale is the owner. With the culprit being unable to lure Hatham Strange, they went for the next best thing. Hatham Strange, that's a real good rich person name. I love it. If the captives ever did reveal what happened, the culprit would at least have a scapegoat. That's this theory off the top of my head, at least. Use daughter as a hostage against father. Use daughter as a scapegoat to blame for being the Fiend, which is what Angel was suspecting. For what it's worth, when questioned, Strange was unaware of having any relation to the hotel. I see. So assuming the owner didn't have anything to do with it, how did the culprit manage to get all of the staff to leave?
Hold it!
What did the email say? Just that the owner had been the one to give the guests vouchers. The email claimed he was planning a surprise visit and that he wished staff to clear out for privacy. According to the staff, the owner is known to entertain guests like this from time to time. Why the air quotes? Let's just say that the guests usually entertained him at these sort of parties. We'll talk about this, hopefully never ever. Let's just move on. What about the motive?
Hold it!
I'll be specific. High-stress situations like these tend to elicit deep mistrust. Depending on tempers, that mistrust can escalate. The Fiend needed them to play nice so that when he released them, they played along. Having one or more of them suddenly disappear would have looked mighty suspicious. The body being found would have caused an even bigger stir that a time of death would determine. So it wasn't so much morality on the Fiend's part as it was practicality. Indeed. To be clear, this is speculation on my part, but one I'm pretty confident in. How does it all fit together, then?
Hold it!
We just had a discussion about it, so I'll just reiterate the main point. Defense believes this Fiend impersonated me and stole the mask, without a shred of evidence to back up such a claim. We've already established people seemingly having perfect disguises. Of course, I don't see what the problem is. We are concluding perfect disguises based on a person being in two places at the same time. You are concluding it out of convenience. Maybe I need to show you some proof then. You definitely do. I think this is as good of a start for us as any. The existence of this Fiend certainly casts the net beyond, well, just me. If the Miss Star who was on the stand was an imposter, though, well, she could have been anyone. You kind of don't have a chance to confront her. Maybe Olga is the other imposter. My strategy for the time being should be just to dig, I guess. Maybe some kind of door's just waiting to be opened here. I have a feeling we present the, drawing in our head.
Objection!
Yesterday I showed you everything as I'd seen it. Hi, Jamie. You know what I know. This is my gift to you. I hope it'll help. I have a question for Miss Basil. Me? How can I be of help? I happen to know that on the very first night of your captivity, you saw someone, a stranger, not one of you. I see an oath of secrecy means very little to some people. Sorry. Yes, I suppose I'll have to admit it. There was a fifth person present at the hotel, without a doubt. As you've said, it was on that first night. I stepped out of my room for a moment, saw him, and ducked right back in, terrified. I don't believe I was noticed. When was this? A little before 2 a.m., if memory serves.
Objection!
In just a moment. That shouldn't be possible. As the detective has just kindly explained to us, there was no way to go up or down that mountain. If the person had been hiding in the hotel, they would have been found along with you. And yet they were. Ain't that curious? It won't mean. I'm gonna drop a lot of truth bombs on you in a minute, but let's take it one step at a time. Miss Basil, do you remember that face of the man you saw at the hotel that night? Well, I suppose there's no point in hiding it, now that I'm out of that awful place. Yes, I remember the face. I'd be more than happy to identify him. I see no reason to play guessing games. This was the man you saw, right? You seem to be asking me questions you know the answers to. Yes, that's him. That's the man.
Objection!
Aha! Ridiculous, it can't be him. Fraulein Basil's either lying or someone fell for yet another impersonation trick. Ron Delight could not have been there. Not only am I willing to bet that he was, I think we can actually prove it. Well, you clearly seem to know a thing or two that I don't. Your resourcefulness truly knows no bounds there, right? Please, tell us then. What proves that Laurent Delight was indeed at Nightingale Hotel? The traces of blood?
Take that!
Defense believes it is highly likely that Ron was killed where the four were held captive. Miss Basil saw him a little before 2 a.m. He died between 2 and 3. It's too tight of a timing to be anything but that. This is ridiculous. Oh, trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Picked up Gumshoe. Back to me? You did it. If my hunch is correct, then there should be evidence of Ron being killed there. If you find traces of his blood, you'll kill two birds with one stone.
Objection!
We're letting things get out of hand here. You're effectively sending Air Shu to prove something that is impossible to begin with. This is a tactic to stall for time. You've said numerous times now there was no way to get to that hotel. And if you're going to suggest Ron Delight was there since the start, there's no way for him to have ended up at the Borscht Bowl Club.
Objection!
No, there is a way. No way. Nope. You even suggested. The hotel's already been searched. There was no secret passages found. Nothing of the sort. So no traces of blood were found either. Sorry, baby. This one's dead on arrival. Anyways, as I was saying, I will now demonstrate how Mr. Delight moved between the club and the hotel. That is literally impossible. There's no way to get between the mountains and the city. None. Not gonna lie, you may have a leg up on me here too, Daddy. Well, I guess it's only natural. Without a whole lot of options. In fact, I only really had two. First was that there is a secret passage between the mountain and the city. I happen to know the hotel was originally supposed to be a train station. Some construction work also got done, so I figured, you know, maybe there's an abandoned railroad running below or something. Wow, sounds very dumb. Which is why I'm glad it fell off here and did in the bud. What's the second option, though? You're about to find out. I do not deserve to be giving off this amount of confidence. I do not deserve... But right about this, though, the entire thing gets turned around. You just need to be carefully think about everything that's happened. Not about what might be the truth, it's about what has to be the truth. Get this right, everything fits. Maybe. Given that Mr. Wright appears to be prepared to prove the impossible, I begged him not to keep us in suspense any longer. For the love of God, how did Dawn Delight move between the city and the Nightingale Hotel? Oh, we have to present evidence. Oh boy. It was very clearly the Golden Mask. I don't actually know how we're going to prove this. Stab wound to the neck. Anything in the... Can tell me? No. I genuinely don't know the answer to this question. It's clearly Desiree. This is how I'd move between the two. It truly is a miracle. It's a miracle how this trial's been going for this long without me losing it. Explain everything to you rationally, and you fling nonsense right back at me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? I actually just grabbed the wrong thing, sorry. Sorry? For the sake of Prosecutor Gavin's sanity. Please accept this penalty, Mr. Wright. If you have something to say, you better get it right. I'm beginning to lose my patience here. There's a line of reasoning not even he wants to cross. Maybe he already has an idea what I'll suggest. Either way, here it comes. Wait, I thought What is going on with the saves here? I'm going to delete some old saves. I'm going to save here. Okay. Magic! Okay, seems like we can reload this save safely. Secret passage! Oh fuck, it really is a secret passage. It was a secret passage. God damn it. It was a secret passage. But it wasn't a secret passage. Yes, it is. Shut up. Why is it a secret passage? Yeah, right. Because shut up. Shut up, Gavin.